Okay, we're now live on YouTube. For the record, Ms. Pleasant, do you want me to read the charge?
Yes, please, into the record. Thank
Okay.
you.
Position 97, State of Georgia versus Shamik, Shymik Mewborn. It's the name I have, Mewborn. He's charged in warrant number 2022 CW 51535 with committing the offense of rape. He's also charged in warrant number 2022 CW 51536 with committing the offense of aggravated assault. He's charged in warrant number 2022 CW 51537 with committing the offense of false imprisonment. He's charged in warrant number 2022 CW 51538 with committing the offense of battery. Mr. Mewborn is present. He's being represented by Attorney Pleasant, who is also present. Say that 3 times fast. Miss Attorney Freeman is here representing the state. Attorney Freeman, you can swear your witness in and begin your presentation.
Judge Detective Cooper, you can turn your video on and unmute yourself. Good morning. Would you raise your right hand?
Good morning.
Good morning. Do you swear and affirm that the testimony about to provide in the matter of State of Georgia versus Shamik Mewborn will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Please tell us your name and how you're employed.
Detective Marco Cooper. I'm employed with the Clayton County Police Department.
How long have you worked with the Clayton County Police Department?
Approximately 7 years.
And sir, were you working with the Clayton County Police Department on June 28th of 2020?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
And on that particular day, did you respond? I'm sorry. From working with the Clayton County Police Department, did you respond to an incident location or did you receive this case as a detective to investigate?
I received this case as a detective to investigate.
Okay. And when did you receive the case to investigate?
I received it in 2020. I actually responded to the scene to assist Uniform Patrol with obtaining a search warrant, and then it was later on assigned to me.
Okay, and where exactly was the scene that you responded to?
The scene was 6981 Adele Lane in Riverdale, Georgia.
Is that a home?
Yes.
Who resides at that home?
I believe it be Tevin Sims.
Is that the name of the alleged victim or relative?
He is believed to be a suspect. I mean, not suspect, a witness in this case. He was a host of a party in this case.
So from your investigation, you learned that there was a party at this location? Yes. On the date, okay. And what was the date of this alleged party?
It was on the night of June 28th, 2020.
When you...
Early morning, I'm sorry.
Early morning, okay. When you went to this location, it's the scene, were you able to speak to the owner of the home?
No, ma'am.
Okay, did you speak to anyone at that location about what happened the early morning hours at this party?
When I responded to the location, I spoke to Uniform Patrol, who have spoke to the victim, and I believe some people in the house. They informed me that there was a party that took place in which a female was sexually assaulted in one of the rooms.
Did the people who indicated that, did they reside at the home or they were just there for the party?
It was a group of people that were there for the party. I believe that Mr. Sims actually resides at that location.
Detective, about how many people did you speak to who stated they were there at that party?
Personally, ma'am, I didn't speak to many people. initially I spoke to the Uniform Patrol Division and then handed the search warrant. During the course of my investigation, I attempted to call multiple people who said they were at the party.
Okay. Did those people respond to you?
No, only people I've been in contact with a little bit was Mr. Sims, Mr. Newborn, and the victim.
What did the alleged victim indicate that happened?
The alleged victim stated that she was at this party, had been consuming alcohol with some friends. She is friends with Mr. Sims, who is believed to be the owner of the property, or at least on the lease. They had a party. She consumed alcohol, decided to go lay down in one of the rooms. When she went to go lay down in one of the rooms, stated another individual, later identified as Mr. Shamik Newborn, had entered the room and began to sexually assault her and hold her down by the wrist. She stated that she screamed for help. Multiple people entered the room and saw him on top of her. Mr. Newborn was then taken out of the residence after a fight ensued between him and Mr. Sims. He left the location. He was then identified through Instagram accounts from the victim.
What was the victim able to say what caused people to come into the room?
They heard the commotion, the screaming.
And who was screaming?
The victim.
Did she indicate what exactly she was screaming?
I believe she was screaming for help and to get him off her. And she stated in quotations, what type of shit y'all on?
Did Mr. Sims, was he able to corroborate what the victim stated?
I believe to initially law enforcement uniform, yes, to a certain extent. He was not very forthcoming as well.
What exactly if you can recall from what the information that he provided to the Uniform Patrol, what exactly did he say that he saw?
I'm not entirely sure, ma'am. Did not recall.
Hold on, let me follow up with that, Ms. Freeman. Did I hear the question correct? You were asking about the uniform, what the uniform officer may have said, or was it Mr. Sims?
What Mr. Sims may have, Detective Cooper testified that Uniform Patrol talked to these witnesses, talked to Mr. Sims. And so my question to him was, what information did Mr. Sims provide to Uniform Patrol?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And his response is he doesn't know.
He doesn't recall.
Okay.
Detective Cooper, when you stated that a fight ensued outside of this residence,
Yes.
who was involved in this fight?
Mr. Sims and Mr. Newborn.
Did Mr. Sims, was he able to corroborate that he in fact got into a physical altercation with Mr. Newborn?
Yes.
Did he state why he got into this fight?
No, he told me, from what I recall, he didn't really want to explain too much. He didn't want to get himself too involved in this situation. But from my understanding from the victim and what taking place from uniform officers, that it was over this particular incident of him Mr. Newborn stepping into the room. Mr. Newborn and Mr. Sims were friends at the time.
And that was going to be my next question. Okay. From speaking with the victim, she indicated that this incident happened in one of the bedrooms there.
Yes.
And while this incident was occurring, was she did she indicate whether or not she was free to leave the room?
No, she indicated that she was held down by the wrist by the hands to wrist by Mr. Newborn. She actually has some scratches that does corroborate with her statement. Also, she advised that she was struck in the face with a closed fist, I believe, by Mr. Newborn. She also had a visible injury to the cheek as well, which also corroborates with this story.
Was the victim transported to a medical facility for a rape kit?
Yes.
Have you since gotten any results from that rape kit?
Yes, I did. The results were there was a male presence of DNA.
And have you been able to determine whether or not that matches Mr. Newborn?
Yes. After conducting a search warrant for his buccal swabs, Mr. Newborn was at the Fulton County Jail on an unrelated charge, which I was able to execute that search warrant through Fulton County and compared results, which did say that the results came back to Mr. Newborn's DNA inside of the victim's Miss Williams' DNA, sexual assault kit. I'm sorry.
Just so we're clear, Detective, when you interviewed the victim, did she indicate whether or not this was a consensual relationship with Mr. Newborn?
She said this was not consensual. She didn't really know Mr. Newborn. She knew Mr. Sims, but did not know Mr. Newborn. She stated that this was not consensual at all.
From your interview with the victim, and just so we're clear, just when did she indicate whether or not this was vaginal?
Yes, she explained that it was Mr. Newborn penetrate her vagina without her consent with his penis.
Did all of this take place in Clayton County?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Ms. Pleasant?
Thank you, Judge. Did Mr. Sims indicate how he was familiar, or if he was familiar with Mr. Newborn?
Yes, they had a friendship. They also have pictures together on Instagram.
And the rape kit, was that conducted on the same day as the incident?
Yes, ma'am.
And you testified there were visible injuries. Exactly what did you observe?
There were some abrasions on the inside of the victim's wrist, both wrists, some scratch marks, it looked like. And I believe it was her left cheek where it had a mark as well.
Were photographs taken of these injuries?
Yes, ma'am.
And other than the rape kit and the photographs, was any other evidence collected in this case?
No, the DNA, I'm sorry. We did execute a search warrant on the house for the bedroom, did collect condoms, bed sheets, and I believe female earrings, which were believed to belong to the victim.
Does this residence have any video surveillance?
No, ma'am.
Did anyone at the party make any videos of the alleged altercation between Mr. Sims and Mr. Newborn?
Not to my knowledge. I haven't yet been able to contact anybody who wants to be involved in this case.
So it's your testimony that Mr. Sims physically fought Mr. Milborn, correct?
Yes,
But now he's not cooperating in the investigation?
to a certain extent, yes.
Has he provided any statement whatsoever that corroborates the alleged victim's statements in this case?
I believe to Uniform Patrol, ma'am. I do not recall.
Okay, so you didn't review your reports before today?
No, man, I'm gonna review them. The thing is that I spoke to him in 2020, 2021. But like I said, he spoke to me for a certain extent. What he told uniform officers was totally different, I think, from what I got. It was
So
piece
you
by
say
piece.
he's giving two different versions of the events?
Not two different versions, but he gives me partial.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. That's all I have at this time, Your Honor.
Okay, before I let Detective Cooper go, I did not hear anything supporting an aggravated assault charge. Did I miss something? I heard the punch to the face. I saw that as a battery, held her down. I saw that as false imprisonment, and the vaginal penetration. I saw that as rape, but I didn't see anything or hear anything related to aggravated assault.
Judge, I can certainly ask additional questions of Detective Cooper. I'm sorry, I thought he had covered that, but I can certainly do some follow-up questions.
If he could just explain the basis of the aggravated assault charge.
Yeah, I would object to that. That goes beyond the scope of my cross-examination.
Well, is there any follow-up? I'm honestly asking if I missed it, and I understand what your position is, Ms. Pleasant, and I may agree with it, but I just didn't want to be in a situation where there was testimony that was given and I missed it.
Judge, I apologize. I thought that he did provide testimony to support the ag assault, and that's what I said. If Your Honor didn't hear it again, I thought he did. If I didn't, I would be mistaken, but I thought he did. I can certainly. I have not closed my case yet. I can certainly still ask questions.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me put I'm gonna put you